Hello and welcome to Trojan Talk. I'm your host, Darren Taylor. Today we'll be talking about the big read and this year's book, part of it, Fahrenheit 451. We'll get more into the book later, but my guest today is Hal Fulmer, Dean of First Year Studies here. And Hal, thanks for joining me today.
Thanks, Aaron. Good to be back.
And we're talking about the big read. Obviously, people familiar with Troy know that we have a Common Reader program where students are encouraged to read a book. But this year's Common Reader, which happens to be Fahrenheit 451,
that's right.
You're spreading it out with this big read. Explain what the big read is all about.
Sure. The Big Read is a National Endowment for the Arts. People are familiar with that. Opportunity through a grant program that they have to secure the resources to have a community university partnership that's built on a conversation about one of the kind of classic American books. When you look at the list that they say, you know, here's the list you can pick from, it's sort of the books we'd all recognize. One of which was Fahrenheit 451, which we were already going to use for our Common Reader as a part of our QEP. So we sort of doubled down. We said, what a great opportunity to really expand the energy and do something in the community as well as on the campus. And that's part, but not all of the reason why Fahrenheit was such a good choice.
And now talk about the fact that it's to encourage reading. And so what are you going to be doing to help encourage reading and help spread the message of reading, and why is it important to do that?
Sure. The NEA Big Read is very much about reading and why reading is important and why books are important. And important, you know, ultimately at a level that deals with what enlightened citizens do when they engage in self-governance, right? Which is what we're about. So it very much is about having a conversation about reading. And so we've got a series of events planned, and you know, if you're not careful, all the events will come off as, well, today we're going to read a book, which for a lot of people who don't read a lot, that sort of sounds like a turnoff. So we've got a film series, for example, that have movies that are thematically related to Fahrenheit 451. We're actually going to show the movie Fahrenheit 451, which is one of the films. But there are a series of other films. The one that I'm hosting is called Girl Rising, really about the empowerment and education of young women, particularly in underdeveloped and third world countries and what's happening there. In the Name of the Rose, which a lot of people will recognize. Some of them are a little lighter. Educating Rita with Michael Caine will be a fun one. So we've got a partnership with our anti-bullying 5K run under the heading Don't Judge a Book by Its Cover. We've got Banned Book Week next week. We've got used book sale. We want people to clean out their garage and give us some books. We're going to take the proceeds from that and we're going to use it to buy books for kids. We've got a children's book festival that'll be coming up, and lots of discussion groups. The goal of this is, structurally, we've got some set for people to come and participate in, but we want people to pick up a copy of the book. It's a free copy. That's what we do, is give away books, and then find other people that want to read it and have a conversation and talk about what reading and books and ideas and discussion are all about.
And of course, the book, you talk about open discussions, and you've got a book here that's pretty much about not having open discussion. So is it a happy coincidence that you pick a book like this, this kind of the anti-discussion type topic for you?
Sure.
There?
What a perfect book to pick, right? Because if you're familiar with the book, and this is sort of a little spoiler alert if you haven't read it, and you should, in this future that Bradbury envisions as he writes it 60 years ago, firemen aren't called to put out fires. They're called to burn books, because the government is afraid of what books and ideas mean to the citizens. And it very much is the story of a fireman who comes to that moment and says, books must be important. I've been taught that I have to burn them, but they're important, and what follows that as well. And so our goal is to invite people in all the different ways they can be invited into the schedule that we have, that they can find on our Facebook page, and they can attend the events, whether it's films or discussion groups, or what they want to self-initiate. The goal is Troy University, City of Troy, that community of people talking about this book, books in general, reading, ideas, why all those things are important.
And of course, promoting reading and having some fun ways to promote reading.
Absolutely, and we'll have T-shirts that we're going to give away with the books, bookmarks, buttons, which I brought for you today. Yeah, you can have those.
These
and
buttons,
yeah, some of them talk about, I read banned books. And the thing is, when you look at a list of banned and challenged books, you're going to find you probably read them too. If you read Hemingway or Steinbeck or Harper Lee or any of the classics end up on those kind of lists that are challenged.
Well,
Yeah.
and then, you know, someone has a chance to wear a button that says "I read banned books" out there in the community. So, you know,
Great way to start a conversation.
And you know, this is one of those lists, so maybe the chance to read this one as well.
Yeah,
So,
Bradbury's on the list too.
well, thank you for bringing the books and the buttons, and good luck with the big read. And hopefully, we'll encourage some people out there in the community to pick up a book and read. Thanks for joining us today. And thank you for joining us on today's edition of Trojan Talk.